So an annual tradition here at Evan & Tiki is returned, and that is 25 in 25, the countdown of the most memorable moments in New York sports from the year that was. I remember a year ago there was a lot of controversy as the list was unveiled. We'll find out about this year's list, because I've been thinking about 25. Was 25 even a good year? Like, was it? I mean, there was a lot of bad. There were some firings.
Not a lot of good.
Not a lot of good. I mean, the Knicks probably did the best of anybody, getting all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but even that ended kind of badly. So, without any further ado, it is the debut of 25 and 25, and I've been told that there is an honorable mention to kick things off. So, I guess this is the first one out, the one that didn't make the top 25, but just missed. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick it off with a little honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Rick Pitino benches R.J. Lewis during the NCAA tournament.
How about this? Who would have ever thought that with a minute to go in the biggest spot of St. John's season, they've got R.J. Lewis on the bench? That is really hard to imagine. Big East Player of the Year. Second team All-American. 3 for 17 and watching with 104 to play. Rick must be upset with him. Got to be something. I don't know. Is he hurt? He's Big East Player of the Year. Stop. Misses the free throw. I mean, for him to be out, that's mind-boggling. I don't care if he was 1 for 30.
Well, 3 for 17 ain't good.
Nah, but you don't bench your best player.
Unless he's chucking.
Yeah, and then he transferred. So obviously, maybe there wasn't a great relationship
maybe
between
he was
Pitino.
not playing team basketball.
Yeah, maybe.
Rick Pitino's no nonsense, man.
That is a sneaky moment because I forgot all about it. But as we're listening to Andrew Catalan and whoever was doing the game with him. Steve Lapis. I'm like, that kind of was a big deal.
Yeah.
I sort of remember that. You know, St. John's had all these expectations. They're playing Arkansas, and all of a sudden, where the hell is R.J. Lewis in the final few minutes?
Yeah, that moment hurts, I think, a little bit from being a Saturday afternoon that I think by the time everybody was chomping at the bit to talk on Monday, it kind of got buried a little bit, I think.
A little bit. Well, it got mentioned on December 8th, 2025. For anyone who forgot. So there's your honorable mention. All right, let's get to the top 25 then. Here it is from the committee, number 25.
Number 25. Brandon Nimmo is shockingly traded to the Texas Rangers.
With this MLB Network breaking news update, I'm Robert Flores. We have the first big trade of the hot stove season. It involves the Texas Rangers and the New York Mets. Jeff Passan, the first to report the details of the deal. Marcus Semien is going from the Rangers to the Mets. Brandon Nimmo is going from the Mets to the Rangers.
I mean, that is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It feels like it's at the back end, too, because it almost, it's like it's time. It was time.
You know, you say that now because it's been a couple of weeks, but when
I
that
say
deal...
because 2 years ago, I said he's going to get traded.
You did say that. But when it happened, it was pretty shocking.
Oh, of course, because it felt like it came out of nowhere.
Like, there were rumors about it, and I, of course, came on the air and said, no way that's going to happen. By the way, I guess I took my L chain off because I'm not wearing it right now, so bad job out of me. Sean, can you fetch me another L that I'm supposed to be wearing? That I
fetch you another L? What am I, Fido?
I think I took it off when I went to the bathroom out of respect.
Is it in there or is it here?
No, I took it off before I went in the bathroom because I didn't want the L to get stinky. I was trying to be respectful, and I forgot to put it back on.
Well,
so when I say,
are you doing in the bathroom?
I had to pee. What was I doing in the bathroom?
TMI.
How is it going to get stinky?
Did you want me to wear an L which hangs around my neck? Like this while I went to the bathroom?
That's a good point. You can throw it behind you, though.
I was trying to be classy. What do you want from me? Anyhow, yeah, I think Brandon Nimmo being traded on November 23rd, that feels like a top 25 most memorable moment.
Oh, definitely.
But I think now that it's been a few weeks, we're also used to it. It's like, no big deal. Let's hear number 24.
Number 24. Pete Alonso becomes the Mets' all-time home run king.
And Pete drives one to deep right center field, headed back toward the wall. It's out of here! Out of here! Pete Alonso stands alone! A polar bear on his own private iceberg. Pete Alonso, the most prolific home run hitter in New York Mets history.
I love that call by Gary.
It's a pretty good call.
That's a great call.
Didn't he get criticized for something?
I was going to say,
I don't remember why now, but
there were a lot of people that didn't like the call. I think the call became a bigger story than the moment.
Because of the iceberg thing?
Because I don't
Yeah.
remember why.
Now, again, we all liked it, but a lot of people thought it was very lame. The iceberg on his own leading into the polar bear thing. We did like a whole thing on that. That was
Yeah.
a big deal.
Yeah, that was back on August 12th. I thought that moment should have been higher.
I agree. That's kind of a disrespect to Alonso.
I mean, I know the Mets are kicking off the bottom half of this 25 and 25, but
Yeah.
Nimmo being traded, fine. But I thought Pete becoming the all-time Met home run king?
Maybe because of how the season ended.
Maybe.
Kind of it doesn't get lost because you remember it, but it just feels like, okay, who cares?
And you know
They
what
didn't
else?
make the playoffs.
If he leaves as a free agent, and I know is it him leaving or the Mets kicking him out, however you want to define it, that record's dead.
Yeah.
Because Juan Soto has 14 more years left on his contract. He will break that record, and it's gone.
Isn't he likely to break it anyways?
It's a great. I think it depends on how long Pete stays here. If Pete finishes his career with the New York Mets and can get to 500, then no, I don't think Juan Soto's going to hit 500 home runs as a Met.
It's possible. The reason why it's 24 and not a little bit, better than that, it's possible that the committee was worried before this thing is over. Pete Alonso signs with another team, and Sean laughs at Evan. Maybe the committee was looking out for Evan here, because if Pete Alonso was third and he signs with another team, by the time we get to 3, Sean will go, what are your best moments? He's not even on the team anymore. It's possible. Maybe the committee was thinking that.
Tommy, in fairness to the committee, last year, Juan Soto sending the Yankees to the World Series was like number 2.
That's right. And I had to die on the sword. What a great moment that was. But it does tell you something about the committee. Because, again, you guys won't tell me who's in this committee.
I
don't
don't
know if you
know who's in the committee.
We don't know who's in it.
But they seem to lean negative. Because if you were ranking the 5 most positive moments of the New York sports year, isn't Pete Alonso being the Mets home run leader in that top 5?
Yeah, but it's not a positive
I
list.
know.
It's a memorable list. And sometimes negative is memorable.
But that tells me that we have high stakes, probably very high negative moments in the top 10 if Alonso's buried this far back.
All right. Well, we'll find out. Let's hear number 23, the final moment that will be revealed today. Let's see if it's another Met moment, since the Mets are 2 for 2 already.
Number 23. Clark Schmidt is controversially pulled with a no-hitter, ruining Sean Morash's weekend.
Of course they're booing. Of course they're freaking booing. Because you took him out during a no-hitter, bringing JT Brubaker to give a damn it hit. Of course you did. You ruined everybody's Saturday, Aaron Boone. Everybody.
Wow.
Is right, Sean.
I was annoyed.
You were very annoyed. And then he gets hurt. He's sat down for the season.
Then he needs Tommy John surgery.
And my whole point was he probably inevitably is going to have an arm injury anyway. At least let him have that moment in his career. And, you can't do it. What if he gets hurt? He's hurt 2 weeks later anyway. Let him go for it.
I can't believe you're dying on the Clark Schmidt should have stayed in sword.
It's
And you were right.
It's my most right take of the year that nobody wanted to admit I was right on.
How are you right about it?
Because he knew he was going to get hurt. You took him out because you didn't want him to get hurt.
Right.
And then he gets hurt anyways.
And my point is, he's probably going to get hurt anyway. If he goes for the no-hitter and gets it, he has that moment the rest of his career. And everybody's like, well, you don't want to cost the World Series or anything. He got hurt anyway. And now who knows what his climb back is going to be. If he had that no-hitter and got hurt anyway, he still gets the same surgery, and he lives with that forever.
Let me give you a very violent example of how wrong you are. Okay? I'm riding my bicycle. And I don't want to wear my helmet. I just don't want to wear it. It's annoying. It hurts, even though you got to wear your helmet.
Of course.
But I listen because you tell me I have to wear my helmet. And I'm riding my bike, and I get run over, and I'm dead. Does that prove that I was right to not wear my helmet?
But
you're dead anyway. What's the difference?
What is your lifelong memory you're getting out of that bike ride?
I don't know. Maybe I saw some beautiful deer running across the road. I don't know.
No, the point of my argument was Clark Schmidt had something possibly in his grasp that was taken from him by Aaron Boone that he will never get the opportunity to have again, you would think. That's all. That was my point.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Maybe the rumors are true. I'm going to give Sean credit for something here. I think the reason that the committee put this 23 and over Pete Alonso is not because of the moment. It was the reaction to Sean. Francesa called him a clown. I'm sure McMonagle had a problem with you. It was really more about the reaction to Sean that was a bigger moment than, what do we need, another Yankee no-hitter, the 7,000th in their history? But your overreaction, and by the way, could you put a shirt on during the video? I had to put this in the system today, and I had to look at your man boobs the entire time.
It was
doing
a summer day. I was enjoying the Yankees outside. He ruined my Saturday.
He was in a pool.
That's right. I was in the pool.
Tommy may be right, because even announcer voice guy didn't just say Clark Schmidt is pulled with a no-hitter. He said Clark Schmidt is pulled with a no-hitter and ruined Sean Morash's weekend.
Right.
In 25.
Number 22. Chris Kreider gets traded.
Can you believe it? Chris Kreider with the natural hat trick, the go-ahead goal in Game 6 in hopes of finishing off the Hurricanes.
Another guy who crowds the front of the net is changing teams. Chris Kreider leaving New York for beautiful California sunshine, guys. He's headed to the Anaheim Ducks.
How's that make you feel, Sean?
That still makes me sad. Chris Kreider, in 6 days, will make his return to Madison Square Garden. There's not going to be a dry eye in the house. That was a guy who deserved to be a lifelong Ranger and arguably the biggest hockey story of 2025.
Really? I kind of forgot about it.
Well, it was a hockey story.
It also happened months ago.
That's true.
Would you, on this day of Diaz leaving and potentially Pete Alonso leaving relatively soon, where would you put that on the Diaz and Alonso leaving scale?
Well, so to be fair, I have to see where Alonso goes. What minimizes Kreider is he went to a very nondescript Dodgers. Ducks.
In L.A., but different.
Right, exactly.
It would be Pete Alonso going to the Angels.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Or Edwin Diaz going to the Angels.
Right, it's a non-threat to the Rangers.
All right, so there you go. That was number 22. Let's hear number 21.
Number 21. The Islanders win the lottery and select Matthew Schaefer.
The first overall selection in the 2025 Upper Deck NHL Draft belongs to the New York Islanders.
Do you believe in miracles, Kenny Morrow? Because your team has pulled it off. The New York Islanders have won the NHL Draft Lottery.
You know what's crazy?
I'm surprised that one's not higher because I do remember that.
That's what I was
Mainly
thinking.
because it was like conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a
When we talked about
conspiracy attached to it because the Islanders lost the All-Star game. And so the thought was the lottery was handed to them because they lost the All-Star game. But the impact of Schaefer, this 18-year-old stud, coming to Long Island and also embracing it with this larger-than-life personality, living with, a former Islander legend and Boomer's daughter, this is going to have one of the great impacts of anything that happened in the year that was. So I agree. My first reaction is that's got to be a lot higher.
Matthew Schaefer is the new king of New York sports.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, I guess when you put it that way, it's tough to hear a call where you say, do you believe in miracles? Do you believe in miracles? They had the All-Star game taken from, of course. Everybody knew they were getting the first overall.
Exactly.
I know, but the odds were
It's
still...
a manufactured miracle.
Of course.
And everybody knew it.
That was WWE writers.
Yes.
I don't care. Knicks fans don't care if it was fixed for Patrick Ewing. I don't care if it was fixed for Matthew Schaefer. And you certainly won't care if, Adam Silver pays back Joe Tsai by opening up China again and sending the lottery to Brooklyn. You ain't going to care either.
No, fix it for me. I don't care. By the way, fix the NFL draft.
All right, so a couple of hockey notes today. As you may notice, the Islander event finishing ahead of the Ranger event. And here is number 20.
Number 20. Woody Johnson verbally destroys Justin Fields.
What's your confidence level in Aaron to turn it around?
Well, it looks like he's turning around parts of it. It's hard when you have a quarterback with, with a rating that we've got. He has the ability, but something just is not jiving. But if you look at any head coach with a quarterback like that, you're going to see similar results if you go across the league. You have to play consistently with, at that position, and that's what we're going to try to do for the remainder of the season.
So what gives you hope then? What's he giving hope?
I just think defense, special teams are doing better.
I think we've heard enough. Yeah, verbally destroying Justin Fields. And the reason
My quarterback sucks.
The reason this should be high on this list is if I ask you 7 years from now to define Justin Fields' time with the New York Jets, the first thing people are going to think about is Woody Johnson verbally destroying him.
There's not any other memorable moments. What other memorable Justin Fields moment is there? He's been good in a couple of these games, but is any of them memorable?
Almost beating the Steelers in week 1.
But not even really, because that was more about the Steelers stealing it at the end.
Well, I do remember that day coming on the air saying, hey, Justin Fields outplayed Aaron Rodgers, which I believed.
Yeah.
So I think from a performance standpoint, you're not wrong, Sean, but no one's going to remember that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the thing we're going to remember about Justin Fields' failed time here is Woody Johnson verbally ripping him.
You can't complete a forward pass.
I don't want to blame Aaron Glenn. I think he's actually pretty good, but his quarterback sucks.
That's exactly what he said.
Number 19. The torpedo bat is all the rage.
This has nothing to do with the Yankees, but this is hundreds of years of baseball. You try to, a pitcher get the ball in on the hands, that's a good pitch. Anthony Volpe, who stinks and is a Yankee, they said they researched his swing. Guess what? They researched it, they found out he stinks. He keeps hitting the ball on the hands, and they altered the bat. Do you want to keep the game sacred? So this has nothing to do with the Yankees, but we don't need these Godzilla bats infiltrating the national pastime.
Remember when that was a big deal?
Right, a huge deal for whoever that was.
That was Dave Portnoy.
Wow.
That was a great rant from Dave Portnoy. Not accusing, well, yes, accusing the Yankees of cheating with the torpedo bats.
Cheating. That, even though everybody used them, not everybody, but a lot of people used them, and after a week, it was not a big deal.
That's why that's clearly not the number one story of the year. That's my favorite sports story of the year. It's the torpedo bats.
It's an underrated story because I think as we sit here in December of 2025, you almost forgot about it. But that was a huge deal for a good 4 days. Not only locally, but nationally.
But I don't think anybody realized that they were in use the year before.
We didn't until we did.
Yes. And then it was like, okay, it's not a big deal.
Right.
And Volpe's year after the torpedo bats just adds to the lore of it.
Yes,
he got hurt and stunk.
Yes. It started good, it ended badly. Here's number 18.
Number 18. Aaron Judge hits an epic postseason home run against the Blue Jays in Game 3 of the ALDS.
Here's the pitch. High fly ball, deep left field. Down the left field line, it is off the fair pole. Hey now! Hey now! Hey now! 3-run homer, Aaron Judge. This game is tied at 6-6.
This had a chance to be more epic than where it finished.
Yeah, because it ended. If they would have kept going, it would have been different.
Yes, it ended the next day.
But it did end the narrative about Aaron Judge not performing in the postseason.
It did for a brief period of time. It certainly did.
Yep.
That's one of those moments that finishes at 18, but I think as it happened the day after, we all thought it had a chance to be top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, number 17.
Number 17. Eli Manning is snubbed from the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A lot of people were disappointed that you didn't have your moment. How are you feeling about it?
I'm happy for the guys who got in. I feel like I was part of the moment because Jared Allen got in. He sacked me so many times. I feel like I helped him get in. So I feel like I got to be happy about that.
You got to respect Eli. Had a sense of humor about it. And that's one of those stories that will trend every year because obviously Eli's also going to be a finalist this year.
Yep.
He's probably not going to get in again. And so this is one of those stories that will probably be around for a while.
All right.
So congratulations to Eli Manning. You may have been snubbed from the Hall of Fame, but being snubbed is 17th in 2025. Let us get to number 16.
Number 16. Aaron Rodgers unloads on Aaron Glenn on the Pat McAfee Show.
I just flew across country. You could have told me this on the phone. If we weren't even going to have a conversation, and this is verbatim exactly how it happened. So I said, huh? And he goes, we just want to know how you want it released, the messaging. And I said, verbatim, I don't give a about the message. Mm-hmm. And I said, why? And then he said, I don't want to be up in front of the room saying something and have guys looking back at you.
Interesting.
And I said, what does that even mean? Are you assuming that I would be in the back of the room during a team meeting undermining what you're saying? I said, you don't know me. And he said, you don't know me. And then I said, exactly, which is why I flew across the country to have a face-to-face meeting with you to talk about my experience with the Jets and to hear your vision for the team.
I have to admit, this has been 8 months since this happened.
Yeah.
I think it was so refreshing that Aaron Rodgers told us just what happened.
Exactly what happened.
Exactly, because we wouldn't have known.
I can see it happening like that. Too.
Oh, 1,000%.
And it's interesting that he was candid about it and gave the insight. I don't know if I judged Aaron Glenn after that or felt sympathy for Aaron Rodgers, but it was interesting to hear the inside of how conversations like that happen.
As a fan of the Jets, I thought it was important to know, and my opinion at the time hasn't changed. I like Aaron Glenn. I'm glad they hired him. I agreed with the decision to move on from Aaron Rodgers. I did not like how he handled the situation with Aaron Rodgers.
Glenn is a weird guy.
I would have been more open-minded. I wouldn't have flown him across the country to basically fire him.
Right.
I would have picked his brain. And so if what Rodgers told McAfee is true, and I have every reason to believe it is, I don't like, and I still don't like the way Glenn handled it.
I don't understand why they wouldn't just have told him and say, we'd love to have you come out and we can talk about this. You got to pick up your stuff. You have a house here, whatever.
But we're moving on.
If you want to come out, great. If not, it's fine.
I also think it shows...
Like, what was the point of having the face-to-face meeting?
Because I need to take you back, though. Remember, when the Packers were done with him, they didn't meet with him face-to-face, and he complained about it. That was a big issue at the end of the Packer tenure. He got called out after this for the hypocrisy when he complained about it. He was not happy. Then the whole thing came up with this. Then he blamed it on phone service he had in his cave or whatever was going on. But he was not happy that the Packers didn't tell him face-to-face.
That's fair, and I remember that. But do you think that's why the Jets called him out? Do you think they cared about being criticized for phone reception? I don't think that's the reason they called him to fly out to Florham Park.
You think, like the Jets didn't care about the Packers?
I don't think they cared about that story.
Yeah.
It's a good story. I don't think they cared about it.
I almost forgot about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it's just important in context. So you can't complain about one, but complain about the other.
What I don't like personally is I understand that Aaron Glenn made the decision he didn't want Aaron Rodgers back. I agreed with that decision. This reminds me of actually David Stearns. I'll bring it back to him. The first thing he did. He took over, and Buck Showalter was basically fired prior to David Stearns ever speaking to him.
Yeah.
And Buck has said this before. He's been open about it. Yeah, I never spoke to him. If you're David Stearns, aren't you open-minded enough to speak to Buck Showalter? Not that you're going to hire him. Yeah. Not that you're bringing Rodgers back. Can you have a conversation? Because maybe that conversation changes your preconceived notion.
Maybe, but the problem was it feels like Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji had an idea of what they wanted to do already. And that idea has not even been close to working out.
But you're right. You can have any idea you want.
Yeah.
Like, I have ideas, but I would still want to be open-minded enough to at least have a discussion, especially with someone like Rodgers or Showalter that have accomplished enough in this sport.
Right, and if not,
it's close-minded.
I think it's more respectful to just tell them on the phone and say, we'd love to have you come out.
Yeah.
But and have this conversation, but I'm telling you the decision now. I'm not dramatizing it and building it up, and you're going to fly all the way across the country having no clue and sit down in the meeting and 3 seconds in say, we're moving on.
I got to tell you, I think I disagree with the committee. We just spent a few minutes still debating this. It's been 8 months. It should be better than 16.
That's right.
Like, we're still arguing about it.
Right.
All right, that's number 16. Aaron Rodgers destroys Aaron Glenn on the Pat McAfee Show. Let's hear number 15.
Number 15, Jackson Dart makes his debut with a bang.
Gadaboo the back. Dart, design run. Up the middle he goes. To the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Giants! Jackson Dart got a quarterback drop from 15 yards out in his first start. Gives the Giants the lead.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was impressive drive.
Impressive drive, impressive win. They were playing the Chargers that day.
The Giants did not, at that point, for years it felt like, score on opening drives. And he just went down and it looked easy.
I have to take the committee to task here.
What?
There was something else on that day that was very memorable. How come they're not paired together?
Why would it be paired together?
Because on that Sunday, the Mets also finished the regular season and finishing off their collapse. Wouldn't that be all? It literally happened at the exact same time.
I'm going to guess, and I don't know, but I'm going to guess the Mets collapse is going to be much higher than 50.
I understand that, but am I on to something here? That Sunday being a memorable day, Dart debut, Mets finish their season off with a collapse.
You know what? I'll answer it this way for you, as just a Met fan, because you're a Giant Met fan.
Right, for me, it's very memorable.
100%. As a Mets fan and someone who watches all the football, I have completely separated those two things. Like, you almost have to remind me that they're connected. So
I forgot that they were on the same day.
There you go. So Tiki's in my boat on this one.
I actually think this moment gets hurt.
Now, granted, I was at that game, and I was calling the game, so it was different.
And I was in my home more focused on the Mets than I was the Giants.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't just doing pre and post. I was actually on the game, so it was like a lot of work that day for me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even paying. I don't think the Mets were in my consciousness at all the whole day.
And honestly, the Giants weren't on my consciousness until hours later because then, I got to do my job. So I think for you, Tommy, I totally get it. I'm not disputing your emotions on it, but I do think for most they would be two separate moments. And I'm assuming that's how the committee's going to look at it because the Mets collapse has to be top 5.
look, I've had my issues with the committee. I actually think Tommy brings up a good point here because for me, you were focused on the Mets, you were at the Giant game. I consumed both together. And it was a married day for me. Like, this is crazy. The list, though, is the most memorable, right?
Yeah.
Dart, unfortunately, is probably a top 5 moment, if not for the Mets. So I think it hurts it. My only question would be, and we have a long way to go, I don't think we marry any moments, right? The committee can't marry moments.
No, you can't marry moments.
I wouldn't marry moments unless the moments are connected.
I don't
think these moments, to me at least, are connected.
Oh, I think they're connected.
I don't think that, to your point, Sean, to respond to your point, that Dart moment is not a top 5 moment unless the team turns into a potential playoff contender.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they've sucked since and they've lost so many close games, it's a great moment because it's the arrival of Jackson Dart.
Can we get somebody from the committee on the phone?
Right.
Because is it about what happened after or in the moment?
I don't know who's on the committee. I just get it emailed to me.
But it's like if the Giants, Russell Wilson starting quarterback, whatever, it sucks. It is what it is. Dave makes a change. They win that first game against the Chargers. Jackson Dart has this ridiculous opening drive and scores on a 15-yard designed run up the middle. And then 10 weeks later, they're a game away from making the playoffs.
It enhances it.
Right?
Yeah.
They're like 8 or 9, and whatever the record would be, you flipped around 9-4, 5, whatever it is. Then we'd be saying, you know what? That Jackson Dart moment, we knew. We knew from that moment.
I agree. I think what happens next certainly adds to it.
Yes.
Anyhow, that's number 15. Number 14.
Number 14. Pete Alonso returns to the Mets after a long standoff.
Jeff Passan breaking the news. Slugger Pete Alonso and the New York Mets are in agreement on a free agent deal. Alonso's deal is for 2 years and $54 million per Mark Feinsand with an opt-out after this 2025 season per source. Now, he'll also get a $10 million signing bonus and a $20 million salary for 2025 with $24 million player option for 2026.
The irony.
Committee's the best. Committee's the best.
I understand that Alonso returning to the Mets after a long standoff happened in 2025 and has to be at one of the most memorable moments, but the timing is impeccable.
Wow.
I mean,
it's a good thing it wasn't yesterday.
I think it's worse than it's today.
Right.
I was moving on today. I was advancing in my life today.
Now you get to remember the fact that he was here and he stayed and you thought he was going to be a Met for life.
It is unlucky number 13.
Number 13. Tears are shed as the Giants finally beat the Eagles.
Because tonight, for the first time in too many damn years versus the Philadelphia Eagles, we had the better quarterback, we had the better running back, and we had the better football team, Justin. How good does that feel, man?
So definitely a memorable moment. It made even more memorable and interesting by Sean weeping.
100%, which is why I think Sean crying definitely had to be a part of it.
Oh, it had to be. But let's be honest, the Giants dominated that game. They really did. And so the Eagles obviously were a little bit flawed early in their season, as we're starting to see now in 3 straight losses, but it was impressive because nobody saw that coming.
You're 100% right.
For me, I predicted it.
I think we actually all did predict it.
I think we did.
I think it was one of those weird nights.
Our show picked it.
Everybody did.
Yes.
I picked him to win. Sean definitely picked him to win. I think Tommy took the points, but didn't pick him to win.
No, I picked them to win. Sean took the points, not for them to win.
All right, I apologize.
Oh, all good, dude.
Thank you for correcting it.
Yeah. Which is why Sean was so emotional.
Probably so. What I also think contributed to Sean's emotion, it's a shame we can't hear from Sean. You know what? We'll ask Al to speak for Sean.
Yes.
So whatever you think Sean would say, Al, could be the answer. But I wondered if the Yankees' embarrassment from the night before, being in the building with me, torturing him a little bit.
I almost forget that was the same week.
It was the day before.
Yeah, I remember.
I almost wonder if that made you cry more because you had kind of dealt with the Yankee embarrassment a day earlier.
I was feeling so heartbroken. He was also being filmed like a zoo animal by Evan Roberts.
Don't turn on me.
Oh, I'm not turning on you. I'm just saying I think he was cranky because he was being treated like a hippopotamus, basically, for your and other Met fans' pleasure.
Tommy, you and Al missed an opportunity, and it's your fault.
It's definitely your fault, Evan. I agree.
It's your fault.
Oh, it's my fault?
In 2024, We were standing together, the three of us, Al Cintron, Tommy Lugauer, and Evan Roberts, as Edwin Diaz was on the mound trying to protect a 3-run lead against the Phillies in a closeout game. Al and Tommy, to their credit, were confident. I was shaking like a child. And if any of them had the foresight, they could have stuck a camera in my face, too.
You know why they didn't?
Why?
Because that's invasion of privacy, of sports fan privacy, and you do it willingly. Shame on you. Shame.
Also, I wonder if the Giants' season spiraling since hurts that moment a little bit.
Yeah. It
does.
It does.
That's
definitely.
a top 7 moment if they're good.
Look, you beat the Chargers, and then what was the game in between?
The Saints.
All right. You beat the Chargers, and then that nonsense that happens with the Saints was frustrating because they should have blown out the Saints. And then you beat the Eagles, and after that point, you're just saying to yourself, this team actually might be freaking good.
Yeah.
And so I think what's happened since it's depressing because you're like, yeah, we're not really that good.
Isn't that the last win they've gotten?
Yes.
Let me ask you this, Tiki, as the Giant guy, and you too, Tommy.
Just not Sean. He's not the Giant guy.
Well, he can't talk.
He's just mute.
Even if you did ask him, he can't talk.
He's just giant.
The Eagles' downfall, does that diminish that win at all?
That's a good question.
I mean, a little bit, to be honest with you.
Really?
Because some of the faults that we talked about it in the week leading up to the game. Like they were aging out at the old line a little bit. Lane Johnson was hurt. He ended up getting hurt. Jordan Mailata wasn't playing great run defense, still a great pass blocker, but Saquon was a shell of what he was a year before. And then you could see it. You could see the cracks. And then a few weeks later, they're fully exposed. Their defense is still pretty good.
Yeah,
so you give credit to the Giant offense still, but you knew that they were vulnerable.
It's funny. I think looking at the Eagles now, yes. I think looking at the Giants now, yes, it kind of ruins it. But in the moment, you beat the Eagles.
Oh yeah, you're not dismissing and discounting that in any way.
You embarrassed them,
right. And you won 2 out of 3. You beat the Chargers, a playoff team. You beat the Eagles, and it felt like they were trending upwards.
I must say, we've been on the air for 2.5 hours. Al's done a great job. Tommy's done a great job.
Thank you.
Sean has done a great job of watching this. This is the moment where Sean's about to explode. He needs to speak. And I don't even know what he wants to speak about.
He could speak. He's got 16 Giants podcasts, and we could play a clip of it, Evan, on Monday. I'm sorry, did anybody hear an annoying zzz in the background there? He's got 17 different platforms. He could cry about it there, and we could play it back on Monday.
You got an infestation in there? Would you like me to call the exterminator?
Please. We need it out of here, removed immediately.
Box over his head. All right, let's get to number 12 here in 25 and 25.
Number 12. The Yankees season ends quietly in a loss to the Blue Jays in Game 4 of the ALDS.
Guerrero backs off at first. Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. And that'll do it. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to the American League Championship Series, which starts on Sunday as Hoffman gives a very defiant look at the Yankee dugout.
Yeah, I think that call perfectly exemplifies that game. It was a sleepy game.
Yeah.
It was a non-exciting game, and it was just a quiet finish to what was, they won a 94-game regular season.
Yeah, and they were tied for the best record in the American League. We all know what should have and could have happened. But that description was exactly right.
Yes.
It felt just like a quiet, all right, you're going.
Yeah.
We'll see you next year.
And what's crazy is
it's over.
I stayed till the bitter end, and I was like alone. Sean was there. He left early. Everybody left early. I'm sitting there by myself scoring the game. Like, come on, I don't know how this is going to end.
I left early because I knew that the next night I had plenty of night broadcasting.
That's right, because to his point, that occurred the day before the Giants beat the Eagles on a Thursday night, so it was all connected.
Right.
And finally, for today, number 11.
Number 11. News of the Jets' decision to cut Aaron Rodgers leaks out on Super Bowl Sunday.
I've learned that Aaron Rodgers flew back to New Jersey this week to meet with the Jets about his future. Met with the team head coach and the GM, only to be told that they want to move on from him. Now, the thing is, what does Aaron want as player or not? What happens? Did they trade him? Do they cut him? Whatever it is, but the fact that Aaron actually used his own plane to fly there to find out what the decision probably means that Aaron still wants to play another year, just not going to be for the Jets. How about that?
How about that? And This is almost a year ago now.
Jay Glazer on the report.
What makes this story number 11, in my opinion, and maybe just not even on the list, is Super Bowl Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's A-Rod opting out in the middle of the 2007 World Series. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not the shock of Aaron Rodgers being cut. It's when it came out.
Yeah.
And I coincidentally had the pregame show on. I don't even know why. I usually don't. And it was on in the background. And that's when I saw it. I was like, what? That's it?
Right.
It's over? Number 10.
Number 10. The Giants suffer an epic collapse in losing to the Denver Broncos.
Dart in a shotgun set. Scatterbo to his left. Dart back, finds the pocket, throws it, and intercepted. Strand with the interception. Hit at the 20 and tackled at the 19-yard line. The last thing you can do is throw an interception.
This is on the play call, period. The play call. The only thing you do is force the Denver Broncos to use 3 timeouts, keep the clock running, and punt the ball away. It's an inexcusable play call. I don't understand it in any capacity.
There you go. Tiki, a part of the moment. The Giants' epic collapse to the Denver Broncos.
That's the only time I've been really pissed off this season. That was the moment. And I love Dave. You guys know this. I didn't want him to get fired. That moment, that pissed me off.
I can hear it in your voice. You're about to get pissed off again about it.
Because it's the worst game management I've ever seen. Seriously.
No, I get you. I think that when we think back to 2025 and
That's the defining play.
100%. The defining game and the defining play. I think this season, and there's been good, especially if Dart puts together this great Hall of Fame career, a few moments ago, and by moments I mean moment number, I guess it was 13, was tears are shed as the Eagles lose to the Giants. That was a great moment, but it feels like the biggest and most significant moment of this entire Giants season was that epic meltdown against the Broncos.
And a game that would have made the Giants 3-4.
Yep.
Against a team that might be the best team in the AFC, considering what they haven't lost since, by the way.
Yeah.
At home. So, at their home, on the road, would have been an epic win and propelled this team, I think, in a completely different direction. And that one stupid play call, and I could see it coming from first down. As soon as first down was over, I could see it coming, and I got so upset.
You are right, by the way. The Giants haven't won since that game, and the Broncos haven't lost since that game.
Right.
It's kind of remarkable. The Broncos were in the midst of a winning streak. They had a 3-game winning streak going into that game. They won that game, and then they've won 2, 4, 7 in a row since. Mm-hmm. That's unbelievable. They've won 10 in a row, the Denver Broncos. 11 in a row.
11 in a row.
11 in a row. Anyhow, certainly a worthy moment. I would argue it should be higher than 10, but hey, let's hear the rest of the list before we cry about it. Here is number 9.
Number 9. An active draft day sees the Giants select Abdul Carter and trade up to draft Jackson Dart.
This is the Giants draft room right now. They've already taken Abdul Carter, the standout edge rusher from Penn State, with the 3rd overall pick tonight. Now, they have Russell Wilson in their quarterback room. They have Jameis Winston in their quarterback room. But still need a long-term quarterback, and they just made a trade with the Texans.
The Houston Texans have traded the 25th pick to the New York Giants. With the 25th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Jackson Dart, quarterback, Mississippi.
They love Jackson Dart.
Hadi Toddy Gashamati, another Ole Miss quarterback going to New York. Eli Manning, of course, from Ole Miss.
There you go. An epic night. Abdul Carter early, Jackson Dart late. And it was one of those rare days, Teak, where you come in the next day and it was universal that Giant fans were pumped up about what happened in the NFL draft.
That's exactly what I wanted to happen. We talked about it leading up to that week. Take the potentially generational, because obviously it's up to debate, potentially generational defensive player. There was a couple of them available, and then trade back in and get Jackson Dart. That's what I wanted. I didn't love Cam Ward. I didn't love Shedeur Sanders. I didn't love most of this quarterback class, but Jackson Dart was intriguing, and I thought you maybe could have got him in the second round, but trading back up in the first, to make no doubt about it, was the perfect move to make for the New York Giants.
So now I'm keeping score at home. We've got 8 more moments to go so far. 3 Mets, 4 Yankees, 3 Jets, 2 hockey, 5 Giants. So far the Giants have been the most impactful team, but I do think the Knicks will have their voices heard.
The Knicks are going to enter the chat very soon.
I think so. I think they're so...
they have to, right?
They're so impactful. They didn't waste around being moment number 12.
Yeah, there's 3 moments that are musts on this list. The committee would have gotten it wrong if these 3 moments are not here in the top 7, which is all we have left.
All right. Well, we'll see. So let's find out about number 8.
Number 8. Cam Schlittler dazzles in a legendary Yankees playoff performance.
Big Cam into the line. And the pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss. This guy is turning into a rookie sensation. A rookie hero for the Yankees in this elimination game. His 11th strikeout, a 1-2-3-7.
The greatest pitching performance in Yankee playoff history.
Can't beat them. Well, they beat him tonight, and they're moving on to take on the frauds on their journey to a championship.
That editing did McMonagle no favors.
Welcome to hell!
That was Dave Sims and Chris Big Mac McMonagle. Look, his emotion after that performance was a lot of people's emotions. That was one of the great postseason performances you'll ever see.
Yeah.
He delivered it in a big moment, obviously, with so much on the line, advancing or getting knocked out.
Took to Twitter, knocking Boston.
Took to Twitter, went after Boston. I think it's one of those things that falls to 8 because of what happened next.
Yeah.
But in that moment, that felt like maybe the top moment of the year.
It's the most memorable baseball game of the year here.
The most memorable baseball? Yeah, probably.
Because, the Mets collapsed, but as far as a signature one game.
Right, it's not just one game.
Right. The signal most memorable baseball game of 2025 was Cam Schlittler beating the Red Sox in an elimination game.
That is number 8. Let's get to number 7.
Number 7. The Jets shockingly traded both Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams.
An absolute blockbuster on trade deadline day. The Jets are moving Sauce Gardner, months removed from a contract extension the team gave him to make him the highest paid corner in the NFL and a franchise cornerstone, to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for receiver A.D. Mitchell and 2 first-round picks.
That glass breaks. If you're new to Evan and Tiki, means we have breaking news, and I'm going to warn you, it better be big.
Yeah, we wouldn't stop the opening if it wasn't big. The fire sale continues with the Jets. The Jets have traded Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
We are waiting. This is within the last 30 seconds. No word on the return yet.
Wow. That was
What a day.
stunning day.
What a day.
I mean, you could argue this could be top 3 or top 4 because, A, it changed the entire trajectory of the Jet franchise and what their plan is. It has changed our conversation for weeks. When we talk so openly about trading up for this guy or trading up for that guy, even Giant fans were affected by this. You guys probably want the number 1 pick more, knowing how many picks we have.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. The whole day changed. It changed the NFL in many ways. The Colt Jet trade might end up being like a monumental trade for 2 franchises that might fork in the road. That was insane. To pull off not 1, but 2, and to happen so quickly following each other. And also, this is crazy, and it's going to sound jokey, but true. To this moment at 4:34 Eastern on December 16th, Quinnen Williams is the only defensive player to play for the Jets this year that has an interception.
No, that's right. That's true. I listen. I know you're trying to poke me.
I'm not trying to poke
but
you.
I think I texted it to you as soon as it happened.
But it's incredible. It's incredible if that's true.
No, it is. It is. And I think with a lot of these things, Cam Schlittler's performance was stunning in that, wow, I can't believe he went 8 innings, 11 strong, whatever that final line was, I already forgot. It was incredible.
And it was the Red Sox. It was Yankees, Red Sox.
Totally get it. But it's baseball, and you went into that night knowing anything could happen. I don't think any of us went into trade deadline Tuesday thinking it was possible they were going to trade Sauce Gardner. Quinnen Williams is one thing, but Sauce being traded was an absolute shock.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I find that behind-the-scenes stuff at WFAN, when big sports stories happen, to be really cool to be a part of. And I think when we got inkling that Sauce Gardner had gotten traded, you thought it was a fake tweet?
Here's what happened. All right.
Refresh me what happened, because we were all here then.
So timestamp on this. Sauce got traded before we were on the air. BT and Sal were on the air as it was happening. The Quinnen trade, as you just heard, was during our open, so it was about an hour or two later. I was sitting in my office, and there was a post of Sauce Gardner, a real Sauce Gardner tweet saying, "Thanks for the memories," or something of that nature. I sent it to you guys and said, he's screwing with us.
That's what happened.
That's what it was. Within 30 seconds of me posting that, it came out that he was traded. And I immediately was like, he wasn't screwing with us.
Is that a new report or an old report?
And Evan, you were so upset. I could argue I visually saw you more upset than you were when we found out Alonso signed. And I've witnessed both of these. You were really upset.
So I will explain the difference.
Okay.
I was stunned by Sauce Gardner. I was not stunned by Pete Alonso.
Okay, that's fair.
I was waiting for the box to be thrown at my face. I was waiting for the brick to be hit on my back. I was waiting for the car to roll me over as I'm biking. I
would have led with that one.
You like that one better?
Yeah.
So I was upset, and I think furtherly I'll be more upset by Pete by a lot than Sauce Gardner. I've already rationalized why it makes sense, moving on, next phase of our lives. I understood Sauce, too. Eventually, I got there. I don't still understand Pete. So I think that one was more saddened and more inevitable.
Okay.
The Sauce thing was a stunner. And anyone who says otherwise, they're lying to you. None of us knew going into trade deadline Tuesday, had any inkling that they were going to trade Sauce. Now, initially, I didn't know what they got, so I'm screaming at my iPad, who's in the deal? Who's in? Obviously, when I see two number ones, even I was like, well, I don't love it, but wow. That's a huge return. And it took me about 24 hours to say, okay, I'm on board, let's go.
And the trade has aged wonderfully for this.
Yesterday, it was number 6 and number 5 that were unveiled, both Knick moments. The Knicks completing their second straight epic comeback against the Celtics was number 6, and then the Knicks collapsing against the Pacers was number 5.
So we're inside our Mount Rushmore here.
We are inside our Mount Rushmore. We are going to hear number 4 and number 3 today, and then tomorrow, on a Football Friday, number 2 and number 1. So very exciting stuff. We are down to the 4 most memorable moments from the year that was, all put together by a committee that works here. Are you ready?
I'm really excited. I got that tingle. Now.
He's got the tingle.
Well, when you get inside, now this is really a big deal, right?
So when it was 23, you were bored?
It's not that you were bored. You're like, okay, I see that. I really have no idea what the hell is left.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 4.
Number 4, the New York Giants fire Brian Daboll.
All right, a little breaking news here from the Chicago O'Hare International Airport. The Giants are going to have a new head coach. Brian Daboll has been fired, sources confirmed to SNY. This comes after a disaster against the Bears, where the Giants blew a double-digit lead with under 4 minutes to play, their 4th double-digit lead that they've blown this year.
I got to tell you, this is my first big issue with the committee. Number 4 for this? I mean, this is not bigger than Sauce and Quinnen getting traded. This is not bigger than either the Knicks' collapse or their comebacks against Boston. Number 4 for Brian Daboll being fired when at the beginning of the year, he should have been fired anyway?
Yeah, but people thought drafting Jackson Dart and the way it started out that he was going to buy himself that time, that extra year. This was absolutely a massive story.
Disagree. I mean, yeah, massive story. I don't think it's ahead of those, but okay. How about number 3?
Number 3, the Mets complete an epic meltdown, quietly losing to the Marlins in Game 162.
It is unfathomable that this collection of talent winds up outside of an expanded playoff system after having the best record in baseball for the first 2.5 months of the season. Everything goes wrong over the last 3.5 months, and the Mets find themselves on the outside looking in.
No biggie.
I am still shaking from that moment.
That's the biggest issue.
What?
That's number 1.
That's number 1. Well, it's not number 1. It's number 3.
That's number 1.
Okay.
Last year, when we did the 24 and 24, Juan Soto signs with the Mets.
Yeah.
Was number 1?
It was number 1, yes. Over even the Yankees getting to the World Series.
So after that number 1 in context, the hype, the anticipation for this Mets season, everything they built up, as was put there by Gary Cohen, the Reds make the playoffs, who at the time, remember, were begging not to make the playoffs. Even as the Mets collapsed, they were still hanging out, so they were in there to the final Sunday. Them completing that collapse, and that's number 3?
Number 3, yeah.
That's a disgrace.
Wow, very passionate.
When you close your eyes and you think about the New York sports world in 2025, and no offense to the Knicks, who obviously had that great run, the Mets not making the playoffs and finishing it off in game 162, that's it. That's the year. That's number 1.
Wow. I mean, I kind of probably agree with you. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you because, and I am biased, I admit that. I am still shaking from that. Like, it is still, like, unfathomable. And that's why I thought Gary Cohen's call was so great. It was so accurate to describe what happened. It truly is unfathomable to think that they would miss the playoffs.
What the hell's left?
I mean, there's a few other things left, apparently.
How could that not be one?
We'll find out tomorrow. It's not number 1. Boy, you hate this committee.
They suck. Like, I want to know, like, I want names. I want names.
I don't have names. I just get forwarded the list, and then we respond to it.
Who's the email that sends it to you?
I can't reveal that.
So you do know.
I don't know.
You must know.
I don't know.
It's somebody who's important.
I can't say that.
Connor, is it you?
It's not me.
Can you just answer this? Is the committee one person?
I don't know.
The audience isn't going to care.
I honestly don't know. You put me on the spot. I don't know the answer.
Your smirk and laugh when I ask for the email tells me you know, and it's bothering me now.
I genuinely don't. I remember last year there were accusations Joe Beningo was on the committee. I don't think he is.
There's no way Joe's on the committee.
Is number 1 the Nets drafting Yegor Joman?
Ladies and gentlemen, number 2.
Number 2, the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau.
Available in the last 3 postseason series. Okay.
Uh-oh. Sham Charania. The New York Knicks are relieving Tom Thibodeau of his duties as head coach.
There you go.
Tell ESPN.
Wow.
And the rest is history.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, we had 40 minutes to talk about it before it actually happened.
That's why we decided to talk about it today.
Well, because it was always a possibility. Now, before we continue, I do have to ask Sean a very important question. Are you sure it's the real Shams?
1,000% sure.
Yeah, no, I have confirmed it as well. I'm reading it right now. The New York Knicks are relieving Tom Thibodeau of his duties as head coach. And then Shams reads the resume. And the resume is great. That's why it was never about the resume.
No.
Thibodeau led the Knicks to their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years, made the playoffs in 4 of 5 years, and led the Knicks to consecutive 50-plus win seasons for the first time since the 90s. So, yeah, it was weirdly stunning in this regard. I think we assumed, or at least most people assumed, all right, they lost in the conference finals, he'll be back.
Yeah.
And as the day and a half to 2 days went on, Ian Begley, who's such a great reporter, didn't say he was going to be fired, but just said it's no sure thing yet. And obviously, after Dolan and Leon Rose had those meetings, they eventually made that decision. But I think the reason this ranks so high, and I totally agree with the committee for putting it this high, you're talking about a team that went to the conference finals.
And had gotten better every single year under Tom Thibodeau. He won Coach of the Year. We knew he had the acumen to be a sound, consistently sound, as long as the roster is right, head coach in the NBA. There was always the challenge of, can he ever take the next step? And it felt like maybe he's just always going to hit a ceiling. And a lot of that was because of the attrition, the minutes that we constantly talked about that these guys were forced to play. But, the reality of it is the Knicks needed a change, and you couldn't change the players. And so it had to be the coach.
What I also find really interesting is that when Brian Daboll got fired, or really any other coach or manager gets fired, you kind of move on within a week.
Mm-hmm.
The Tom Thibodeau firing is still a discussion point. Like, after the Knicks won the NBA Cup, it was, what would have Tibbs done? The benchings or the sittings last night, what would Tibbs have done?
He would not have done that.
He wouldn't have done it.
Have sat 3 of essentially your starters, even though Mitch is not a starter.
Right.
But you know what I mean? But 3 of your most important players didn't even dress.
No, and it's not even a negative or a positive.
Right.
It's that Tibbs is still discussed around here. So I get it being as high as it was. It was stunning to a lot of people.
And it also that we started our show with it.
Right. Yeah, that was, so behind the scenes, it was a Tuesday.
Yes.
And, we sit around, we're preparing the show, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, Mets, Yankees, what do you want to do? And I was like, I think it's Tibbs, because I think they may fire him. I'm not positive, but I still think it's an issue. And so we opened the show with it, and within like 40 minutes of the open, the news came out. And Sean was like, man, it's like you knew something. I didn't know anything. I knew it wasn't settled. That's what I knew. And then obviously the conversation for weeks and months about who they should hire and if the Knicks know what they're doing. And obviously as we sit here on December 19th, they're the heavy favorites to come out of the East. And I think most Knicks fans would give a very positive review to Mike Brown.
Yes.
Let us get to the most memorable sports moment of 2025.
Number 1. An epic night in New York sports sees Juan Soto's return to Yankee Stadium and the Knicks eliminating the Celtics to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Here we go.
Here we go. Well, this entire place is standing and booing. Soto just said hello to Austin Wells. He's stepping. Oh, good for you.
Tipping his helmet. Good for him.
If you want to knock off the champions, you have to play like champions. And the Knicks did that tonight. A 119-81 win. And the outcome that no one in the NBA saw coming, aside from the New York Knicks themselves. Knicks in 6.
Wow. That was a night, man.
That was a heck of a day.
You can't argue with that. The dueling night, Friday night, Soto's return, the Knicks in 6 in one of the great upsets in New York sports history.
Yeah, more importantly, the bleacher creatures turned their back. Like someone suggested on this show.
That did eventually happen, yes.
Don't boo, just turn your back.
That's right.
I don't like that at number 1.
Why?
Why?
How could that not be
Because
number
it's
1?
It's two.
Okay,
events.
so just it's what happened, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the moments that happened. Anticipation-wise, I agree this was the most anticipated night of the year. I think the ultimate payoff, I don't think this is bigger than that last 162 when the Mets end up ultimately collapsing. I'll tell you why.
The Knicks went to the Eastern Conference.
I understand that.
Finals.
I understand that. But what happens is on that night, this is after Tatum gets hurt already.
Stop it.
The Knicks blow them out. It's never a game. It's not like there's an epic Knick game. No, just let me finish. And then the once he tips the cap, it kind of becomes very ho-hum Soto's return that night.
No,
it does.
true.
We were in the building.
I don't remember the game.
Yeah, and all I'm saying is
I remember the return. I don't remember what happened in that game.
the build-up and the day is number 1, but I think the payoff of the Knicks blow them out, it's kind of a game. I don't think the payoff ends up being the number 1 moment.
Here's why you're wrong, and I'm going to go into New York sports history to prove you wrong.
By the way, Here's Why You're Wrong should be the name of Evan Roberts' next book.
I swear to God, someone sent me a song called Evan Roberts, the Sports Talk Bully. We have it, and in it, I keep saying, I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah.
So apparently I do say that a lot.
Correct.
I apologize. The Mets winning the World Series and the Giants Monday night game is linked in New York sports history. And yet Game 7, to a lot of people, is almost overshadowed by Game 6, even though the Mets came back in that game, and no one really remembers what happened in the Giants game. And so to me, Soto's return / Knicks beat the Celtics, that's the headline. I don't think the results of the games. Now, we know the Yankees won and we know the Knicks won, but I don't think the intricacies of the game is what's going to be remembered 50 years from now. And I'll fight with you on this. Not only is that moment, the Soto return, the Knick victory, the biggest of 2025, it may be the biggest for the next 25.
Okay. That
got a shot.
It may be, and I just think the fact that it wasn't an epic game, but here's my biggest issue with the stupid committee, who you refuse to tell us who's in it, and I know you have the email. I need to know who's in it. How on earth, then, are we combining these moments? Then when the Mets collapse on that Sunday to pay it off, and Jackson Dart debuts and beats the Chargers, and the whole world is going, were you more into the Giant game? Were you more into the Met game?
It was separated.
No. It was separated because somebody in the committee wasn't focused on that moment. I know where I was. People couldn't get enough of watching both of those games simultaneously. That ends up the payoff of that. Mets collapse, oh my God, Dart wins, is a bigger payoff in terms of games.
I would think only because the Jackson Dart win, it felt like it was independent. I know what Evan's saying. It feels independent of the Mets collapsing. It's not on the same. You know what I mean?
But isn't the Knicks advancing independent of Juan Soto Yankee Stadium?
No, because they were both in New York. So it was a huge night for New York sports because both events took place there.
I think you nailed it. I think the fact, because I remember us doing that show from Yankee Stadium that day, that was an amazing night. I mean, when you think about the anticipation of Soto's return, the biggest free agent move maybe in New York sports history when you think of the two teams involved.
Yes.
And the hype around it and the discourse around it and the reaction to it. So, yes, the game was very unmemorable, but the return marked with the Knicks beating the Celtics, and not just beating them in Game 6, like physically destroying them in Game 6, and celebrating the way they did and completing what was an epic upset. I mean, that is, to me, this was a lock, number one. Committee got it right.
I think they did, but I do think that there's an argument for the fact that Dart and the Mets collapse could have been combined and both be higher on the list, maybe as number 2. I think there's an argument for that, but number 1 was correct. The committee got it right.
All right, so there you go. The New York Knicks defeating the Boston Celtics on that Friday night, combined with Juan Soto's return. A Friday night none of us will ever forget. And look what happened that night. And everyone knows, everyone in that building, either building, Madison Square Garden or Yankee Stadium, they'll always remember it. Now, the funny thing about the Yankee-Met game is the only thing you're probably going to remember is the booing of Soto. Because, like, honestly, I don't remember much else about this game.